When people do the silent treatment, I always immediately knew that it was someone trying to make me overthink something, or they were using it as a way to sort of gain control or devalue me. Because when they do this, and I'm sure if you ever been given the silent treatment, you know what I mean. When people do this thing where they like leave this whole gap of information. So all you're left to do is basically reread your chat or rethink every interaction. And oftentimes it makes you overthink when you're literally uncertain of what just happened. And don't get it twisted, because there's a difference between silent treatment and just not engaging in a conversation or topic. I always say in my videos that I'm not in the business of arguing, right? I don't want to argue with people. I may reply to someone once, and then after that, I'm not engaging in anything, even if I think you're 100% wrong. Oftentimes, I just don't respond to people simply by the tone of how you're speaking or the subject matter, because I already know this person is coming from a place of anger, resentment, or uncontrolled emotions. They're not even thinking from a rational place. Why would I make myself mad interacting with you? You know what I'm saying? Therefore, my intention is to preserve my own mental peace. I'm not in the business of arguing. I want to prevent further conflict. Okay? So this is a way for me to set a boundary for myself to self-regulate when communicating with people. However, this is way different than the silent treatment. The silent treatment feels like punishment. It feels like control. It feels like someone's trying to force a reaction or an apology out of you. People will do this thing where it's basically like, yo, check this out. I'm just going to ignore you until you figure out why I'm mad. By doing this, they're essentially trying to make you submit by pleading or apologizing for random things. You ever do that before? You just start randomly apologizing. You start apologizing about random things that you're just throwing stuff at the wall at this point, because you don't even really know what the heck really happened. Like, why are you giving me a silent treatment? Like, I don't really know. And certain people, they'll use this power they get over you by, watching you plead for them, like, or to respond back or talk to you. But they're going to calculate their moves while they're doing that. They're going to read all your text messages and everything, and they're calculating realistically. That's what they're doing. Because what happens is, when they create enough time where they can give you the silent treatment, they'll finally suddenly pop back into communicating with you. And then you feel relieved, right? You feel happy that they're back, right? And when you do that, right, you get so overwhelmed. You're happy and relieved, seeing them back, that, you overlook the fact that they just gave you the silent treatment for X amount of hours or days or weeks. And if someone does this to you, like they return back after the two of you had some form of commitment, and you knew they were giving you silent treatment, it wasn't just like they just disappear off the face of the earth. You know what I'm saying? They literally were giving you silent treatment, like blatantly ignoring you and so forth. When they return back, sometimes you feel like the commitment between you two isn't finished yet. And that also excites you and overwhelms you. Like, oh, okay, we have another chance here. Nah. I gotta tell you the reality. It's not true, man. That's the game that is played. You see that's how they're getting you with that. They make you think that, it's not finished yet. We're unfinished. There's another chance at this. Nah, bro. Nah, and like I mentioned before, when they suddenly pop back into your life and start communicating with you after blatantly ignoring you, giving you the ignore treatment, the silent treatment, whatever, bro, you be feeling so relieved and happy to see them back that you just ignore the fact they just gave you a silent treatment and they just left you with a bunch of questions and like so forth. But look, both of what I'm mentioning about someone returning from the silent treatment is how someone basically regains control over your emotions and your vulnerabilities. And sometimes people will do this silent treatment not to get control over you, believe it or not, but because they feel they sort of gained everything they can emotionally gain from you per se. But because they feel like they did this, like once they feel like they got all this validation they needed from you, maybe you were gassing them up. That's another thing, so they got all this validation from you. They got this status from you, or even some sort of emotional feelings that they felt they were lacking in their own personal life. They sort of look at you like they bought out the whole store. Like you got nothing to stock anymore. There's nothing to sell in your store anymore. You're like what? You're bankrupt. That's it. There's no profit to gain here anymore. They bought out all the stuff from your store, and then I don't need to shop here anymore. And relationships and friendships, by the way, are very give and take, right? You can't just constantly give or constantly take from someone. It may not always be even, right? This give and take thing, but there needs to be a balance of what someone can provide and what you can provide to someone else. And once you recognize that, that's a perfect time to express that, like to this person who If you feel like you're giving too much or they're taking too much, this is a perfect time to tell them like, hey, listen, this is kind of getting exhausting or mentally draining, or, I'm kind of outgrowing this or feel like this is not appropriate for me anymore. But for some people, they'll constantly take from you. Take, 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 take. And you may think you're giving because you're allowing them to take, but you're not, because it's taxing on you. That's not giving if it's taxing on you. You'll just wake up one day though, and this person, you just be blocked, bro. That's it. They won't even communicate. Like they'll just hit you with maybe they will, right? They'll hit you with this random message that leaves you with so many questions, then they'll block you. That's it. Or they get very, very, very distant, right? This is what people do too. Like they don't just ghost you. Like they'll give you the silent treatment all day, except for like 5 minutes a day, right? 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes a day that they give you, that's them trying to reinforce this idea that there's still hope for, or something between you two, that, this is how they hook you. This is how they hook you still, and you're just low priority. You're a low priority option. If you ever been in a relationship or something like that, right? Tell me if I'm lying when I say those 5 minutes feel like high anxiety, and it's like it hyper focuses you, right? It's like it's like it gives you like this sort of rush. And that rush that you get from them giving you that 5 minutes attention after giving you that silent treatment all day, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They hook you in. And sooner or later, when they get bored of doing that now, right? Or, they already found again, you're low priority. You're just an option at this point. When they found their better option, or, something else that excites them, like a new crystal ball or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Symbolically speaking, they're just going to leave with no closure, or won't give you the opportunity to share how this made you feel. Been there, done that. It hurt me, but at the end, they did me a favor, right? You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not your unpaid therapist or some ATM for you to ask money for, or to mend your emotions when you need me there. Friendships and relationships are supposed to be an attempted balance of effort, okay? If someone is not putting in the effort, or clearly not into it, and this ain't it. And again, once they start giving you that silent treatment, you should just, bro, when they give you the silent treatment, it just mark it as over already. Just start concluding in your head, hey, this is over. It's over. This relationship or friendship is over at this point. You might as well prepare to move on to the next thing. And, you can still hold on to the fantasy that, oh my God, they're going to come back, and then, this is still unfinished business. We still got this unfinished thing. All right, tell me how you feel when you just keep chasing this person. It's going to make you miserable, And again, been there, done that. Somebody doing this to you is just squeezing you out of your sanity and your emotions and using it to take advantage of you. This is how they control you. That's what I'm saying. It's just as simple as that. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Love you all. I'm out.